Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing a channel banner for Discord. This tutorial is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You'll find all the assets you need to download, including a template if you don't want to follow the tutorial, in the description of the video. And other than that, let's jump right into this. We're going to start off by going to File, New, and we're making this 900 by 450 as our canvas. Let's click Create. Now with our canvas, we're going to go over to the left side on our toolbar, select the rectangle tool, make sure we are on the following color, 41, 41, 41, click OK. Then we're going to drag this down. Don't worry about the size because we're going to come over to Properties and make some adjustments. If you don't see the Properties window, go over to Window, go down to Properties, click it so the check mark appears. It will then pop up in this section right here where my mouse is currently hovering. But if you don't want it there, you can drag it to the side and dock it in that position. Now on our Properties tab, we're going to want to leave the stroke, go onto the fill with our color of choice. For the width, we're going to make this 630, and for the height, we're going to make this 150. Now, if it's not allowing you to change those settings, it's auto-populating either the width or the height for you. Make sure this chain here is unchecked because this links the shape, width, and height. So you won't be able to make custom adjustments to both at the same time. And for the corners, as a final edit, we'll be making those 15 pixels. Onto the Move tool, we're going to make sure this is centered by holding Shift when we drag it left or right. Perfect. And the shape, I'm going to do Control G and then Control J. The layer below, I'm going to call Backup just in case because we're going to be making some cuts. As for this, I'll be calling that the base. Right click on the eyeball and let's make this red just to keep ourselves organized, and colors are a great way to do that. Great. Alright, for the base, let's right click and rasterize layer style. Come over to the left side, go to our pen tool, and holding Alt on your keyboard and scrolling with your mouse while holding Alt, you can zoom in on the part where your mouse is currently pointing. So if I point my mouse to the left corner, I hold Alt and I scroll, it's going to start directing me to that corner. If I hold Alt and point my mouse in this direction, it's going to start moving me in that direction. So I'm going to click here with my pen tool before the curve starts, then come down to about here, and then slowly curve this. Make sure after you click, you don't let go and just start dragging. And drag till you are in about that position. Takes me a few tries to get this right. Sometimes I click too far, sometimes too soon. Might have got this right my first try. That will do. I think for yourself, you can go a bit further down, but this also works quite well. Now I'm going to go over to my dots, drag those in. If dragging in is not working for you, you can also go to the rectangular marquee tool, highlight the entire thing, edit, copy, or just Control C and then Control V that right in there. With our dots in, we're going to do a Control T. If Control T is not working for you, go over to Edit and choose Free Transform. So Control T, I'm going to drag this down until it is at about that position. Then I will do Control J, drag it over while on the Move tool. Make sure it lines up with that edge there, and it is. Right click, merge down, right click, blending options, color overlay, let's make that white. Okay, right click, rasterize layer style, and let's make this as an overlay with an opacity of 20%. Now either hold Alt and click in between, or right click and create clipping mask. Double click on the layer, and let's name that dots. Now, I don't remember the specific site that I got this brush pattern from, but I will try to find something similar. It probably won't be the exact same, so you have to play around with your brushes, or you can just go into my template and grab that brush there and just recolor it for your own use. But I am using this brush style from the free brush stroke Photoshop brushes. Very helpful name. And I'm simply going to click at the ends right there. Let's call this the brush. And if you don't want the brush in that position, another great spot for it is let's do Control J to duplicate it. Hold Alt to click that down. Control T, go to the width, add a minus. Click the check mark. And then just dragging it over here is also a nice spot for it. Now, before we wrap up the base, there's one more thing we have to do. Do Control J on the base layer, then double click on the layer you just have duplicated below it. And then we're going to right click, go to blending options, go over to color overlay. Let's make this completely black, which is straight zeros. Right click, rasterize layer style. Make sure you're on the move tool. And then using your 2 fingers on the arrow keys, go left, right, and complete that process until it is in about that position. Okay, it looks good. I suppose you can go a bit further if you want, but I'm going to leave it off here. Now I'm going to collapse this. Let's double click and call it the base area. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call this the text or the text area. And I'm also going to drag in the Discord logo. Of course, you can use anything else that you want. I'm using the Discord icon for this example, but if the banner fits something else, let's say the rules or a different social platform, of course use that icon instead. Let's do a color overlay, make this completely white. Okay, right click, rasterize layer style, Control T, drag this down. You might have to hold Shift, you might not have to. Just make sure whichever you do, it is resizing proportionally. Try to bring it over as far to the left as you can. Make sure it is centered. Then let's right click, make this blue, and right click in the text area and make that green. And then for the text, completely white. Make sure we're on the Edo SZ fonts, and let's call this rules. I actually want to do 120 for the sizing. Click the check mark. Again, hold Shift as you move this to keep it moving on either the X or the Y axis. Make sure it is centered, then come over to your rectangular marquee tool. Highlight the entire image you just created. Edit, copy merged file, new create. Do Control J, and from here to actually save it, you can either do File, Export, Save for Web. And these are the settings I'm using, and this just helps compress everything to make it easier to upload. Or just File, Save As, and choose PNG. Now, I probably should have mentioned this at the start, but if you don't own Photoshop, you can instead use a website called Photopea or Photopea. It has much of the same functionality as Photoshop, looks just about the same, and you can do everything I just did in this video there, or you can simply upload the template I made and edit it from that same site with no costs, no downloading, all online, easy to use. Hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, and other than that, I hope you have an awesome day.